Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Vino Vale. And before we get things started, I just want to do a quick to mark our episode dedicated to the Saudi League and the Lebanese wine we're going to be drinking today.
The energy is palpable right now.
It is. I mean, not many times. I'll do it one more time.
Oh, I'm ready to run through a wall right now.
I'm feeling pretty good about that.
No, feeling good.
So we're back, another episode. Before we get started, there's always a couple standing items. So
there is always this. Is this the standing Mike Wall Honesty Hour?
Mike Wall Honesty Hour come later, and it's pretty light. I don't think there's more things that I just wanted to clarify. Didn't really mess up on. I don't think we misspoke in any, but just clarify some things. But before that, Rye.
Yes.
My buddy, how are you?
Here we are, episode 4. So excited. Back in action. It's the eve of Turkums, of Thanksgiving. It's like 1 and 1A holidays for me. I freaking love Thanksgiving.
You and Bob Belcher.
That's true.
Burgers. He loves a good Thanksgiving.
Love cooking all day, having all the energy in the kitchen. It gives me great joy. And then there's obviously the immediate turnaround the next day.
Yeah.
Acquiring the Christmas tree, diving just
balls deep
into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
I've already got my rough list of movies we're gonna watch, and no, I'm excited. What's been going on? 2-day work week
for you. So you don't have school tomorrow?
Do not. It was given as a staff appreciation day, so
I'm gonna be a little groggy in the morning. I've got to work. So yeah, we had Thursday and Friday off.
Not this guy.
Not this guy.
Nope. I'm gonna watch the rain fall. Yell at my kids all day. Play with my trains. That's the only mention of trains. I just want to get out there. I just got to remind the people.
I did give Ryan a death stare. He knows. He knows. This isn't the platform for that.
Well, let's see what else is going on.
We just celebrated Friendsgiving together,
which
was phenomenal. We had we call it our family dinner crew, and we had a couple other extra people in, and I served. Take all like the leftovers from Thanksgiving, but we just do it up front, and we do it in slider format on King's Wine Rolls, and
It was awesome.
I was so full.
Yeah, I was really uncomfortable. But like the car ride home, it was like short breaths, and
just like one speed bump or hiccup,
just
pothole,
paint the inside of the car,
spraying the dashboard. Yeah, but it was phenomenal. Whenever we all get together, it's a great time, and I think the best part was that all of our kids seem to just generally enjoy each other's company. Which later in life, one way or another, they're stuck.
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere, so they better. But it is just nice to see that they naturally enjoy each other's company, and pretty much just played by themselves in the basement while we were just
being kids and
drinking
we could be
wine
adults
and eating sliders. So couldn't have had it any better.
Joyous occasion.
But yeah, other than that, things have been going well. Obviously, very excited for this episode as we wrap up the month of November and then dive into the holly jolly Christmas.
Can't wait.
The glorious time of year. So really
Jingling
excited about those
bells. Bells. Mike,
Ryan.
Christmas has come early for some of us. As I've been the last week, wake from your slumber one morn, you wipe the sleep from your eyes.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You give your wife a gentle good morning kiss, which she does not acknowledge because it is far too early for any form of romantic advances. So you roll over, you open up your phone, might do some scrolling, you check the news, and what could it be? Could it be the Merseyside rivals of Everton, bottom of the barrel?
A 10-point deduction. Now,
just inform the folks who might not know why they received such a deduction.
Breach of financial fair play. So essentially, there's only so much money that you can utilize for player salaries and so on and so forth, and you have to kind of allocate all of those, basically how much money you made to go towards how much you can spend for players. And in this instance, Everton had one breach of that financial fair play, so they were docked 10 points, which brought them into the relegation zone.
Now, well established, not a numbers guy. I understand everything you told me. Now, that was one breach of said financial somethings. I think there's another, coincidentally enough, Saudi-owned team that may have a few more than that?
Just a wee bit, yes. Manchester City has over 100, allegedly over 100 breaches of financial fair play. Now, those out there are kind of following it and obviously from my circle, the Liverpool fans and rival clubs that are wondering, like, when's the hammer going to fall? Here's the difference, right? So Chelsea came in contact with this with breaches of financial fair play, and they couldn't spend any money in the transfer window for, I think it was like two
Okay.
years. Everton, again, one breach,
Yeah.
docked 10 points. Now, the two things that Chelsea and Everton did that I don't believe that Manchester City are doing is they complied with the charges with the FA. They did everything they were
They
supposed
took
to
their
do.
medicine.
Exactly.
Okay.
They took their medicine. They took the hit. 10 points. Now, I do love to see Everton fail. I think 10 points is a little harsh, but Manchester City has kind of gone the opposite. Now, the way that the FA got their hands on these breaches of financial fair play is that someone from within I think it was either within the organization or actually someone hacked the Manchester City databases and pulled up all these documentations that confirmed the breaches of financial fair play.
Oh.
So now Manchester City has just fought it at every turn, kind of prolonging the situation. But
yeah, as they're acquiring more and more trophies.
right,
Mhm.
doors are closing. The walls are caving in. It's going to happen. So
Let's just hope they get their dick caught in the window.
I hope they get dropped 2 leagues down. I hope they get stripped all of their titles, because I think it was Manchester United and Liverpool were in second place for like their 6 titles.
Yeah.
So they, respectively would get those. And then I'm okay with a good team.
Mhm.
I'm okay with you beating me because you had the better 11.
Right.
I just want it to be done fairly.
Yeah.
And I think that is my biggest
Fair play.
problem
It's
with
all about fair play.
Chelsea. My problem with Manchester City is it's just not done in a fair manner. So, like, yeah, you have a bench that's probably better than some starting 11s, but,
Right.
like, it's not legal.
Right.
So
Can't do it.
they need to get their dick slapped.
Love it. But in the negative way.
Right. Like the hard slap.
Yeah.
Not like the...
Yeah.
But yeah, so, hopefully we can see a little bit more. Apparently, and I just read this before you came over, is that Liverpool, of course, or John Henry is the organization pushing for a resolution to this sooner than later, hopefully by the next season. So we'll see. We'll see what comes of it. There's a good chance that nothing comes of it because there's corruption all around us. And
That's true. And are we going to talk about some corruption today?
oh, okay.
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for that. But before we get into that,
Yes.
it's only fair that we bring up seems to be a standing item. I think we'll bring it every time. It's the Mike Wall Honesty Hour.
All right.
And these are all very innocent. I didn't make myself out to be better than I was, like in a previous episode. It wasn't because my wife fucked us over in the first episode. So these are all just, very innocuous, but things that needed to be pointed out.
All right.
First off,
1.
and this was more of just so mad that we didn't bring it up. During the last episode, when we were talking about the lighter side, it was probably one of our favorites, but for some reason I missed it. The record for the most yellow cards for excessive celebration is held at 7 and held by our dearest Bobby Firmino. Excessive celebration is when you score a goal, you take off your shirt, and for some reason, the powers that be do not like that. They think it should be a yellow card, and so no one has done it more than our beloved Bobby Firmino.
It's just the juxtaposition of like him being from Brazil, a very like passionate and like skin forward culture, playing in England where it's just like oh my no that's a man's nipple.
It's always
put it away please. Oh, yellow card that gentleman.
It always reminds me like the stuck up is. I think I'll go to Family Guy for this. It's like that time I watched that British porno. Should we have sex? Yes, but let's not. And that's the end of it. But yeah, and I mean, not to mention that he just had those massive veneers, like
so
the
bright
smile you could see from space. So yes,
he earned every one of those yellow cards. And you know what?
And
it's a great record.
It works out that we're talking about him because he'll probably come up a little bit later in the conversation when we get into our main topic, which is going to be the Saudi Pro League and its impact that it's had on the Premier League.
Yeah.
So again, very innocent.
Yep. That's one. Number 2.
Next one. When I was talking about our trip to Charleston, I believe I'd said that I drank 12 bottles of wine
in 4 days.
In 4
You
days.
yourself did not.
See, okay, you understood,
Yeah, I
and I'm
understood.
sure most did, but I just wanted. There were other people involved. My brother-in-law was involved. My wife was involved. My sister-in-law was involved. We had friends over. A lot of people were partaking in the drinking of wine.
Yes.
So, yes, I may still be somewhat of a problem drinker, but just not
Not to
it's
that
not
level.
worrisome.
That
It's
is-
just like everybody else. Like, yeah, like do I
imagine
have too
just
much?
how dried out you'd be if you drank that?
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it's like damn near physically impossible, but just like
Yeah. So, again, innocent, but needed to clear the air.
number 3.
Number 3. When talking about Richarlison
Yep.
and how I don't understand how he keeps going to these better teams. I believe the term I used was "fausted," which is incorrect. And for my Larry David and Curb Your Enthusiasm fans, I'm so sorry. It's foisted. So when you foist someone on someone else, it's you basically just make them sound better than they are, and then you pawn them off, and then that team or that person sees how much they suck, and then they do it again.
All right.
So foisted was
Foisted.
That's
Number 4?
No, that
Oh,
was
just 3.
just
All right.
three.
Okay.
Yeah, just three. So we've kind of wrapped up our
Yeah, we've done our housekeeping.
yeah
Yeah.
very painless.
So far, so good.
So yeah, I think.
I'm thirsty, Mike.
Well then, to all our Vino Volleyers out there, it is time to pop those corks, indulge in a healthy pour, and dive studs up in today's episode. So, Rye Guy,
All right.
what are we going to be drinking today?
We, as mentioned in the previous episode and posted on the socials that we have, we are drinking the Messiah, which is a Lebanese wine. It is. Oh my God. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Here we go. The Messiah Lebanese wine. It is a blend of 35% Grenache Noir, 35% Cinsault, spelled Cinsault. I'll circle back to that one. And 30% Tempranillo. So did a little bit of reading, like in the 5 minutes before we started recording. And the Cinsault, could be Cinault, but I'll go with Cinsault as like the French way, is a local arid, warm grape that is usually blended with the Grenache and the Tempranillo that was brought to and is harvested in Morocco as well as Lebanon.
Beautiful. And we've partaken in a lot of Grenache and Tempranillo, but definitely not the Cinsault. It sounds
I mean,
Sounds
or do you want to go with Cinsault? I don't like that. I like Cinsault. Yeah, I mean, I could probably look it up, but again, I already did enough reading, and by enough reading, I mean I have 2 things open
All right.
on my phone.
So, all right, let's hit us with the notes, the profile.
The profile winemaker notes: a fresh, thirst-quenching wine for everyday drinking, distinguished by hints of spice and pepper.
Okay.
Drink when young to fully enjoy its fruit.
What year is that bottle?
This bottle is a 2020.
So, still fairly young.
And the price point, this is actually the highest price point we've had on wine.com. This is a $22.99 bottle. So at least that I've looked up that I can remember.
We're really just high rollers now, in those 20 range.
And this is 14.5%. So
Nothing better than on Tuesday night.
yeah. Yeah, so tie on your shoes and
All right, buddy. Well, let's
do
get
this.
that official cheers.
all right, so super curious about this. Haven't taken a sip yet, but if you know anything about me, I'm all about like trying to get the most out of little. Like squeezing water from a rock. So the fact this is like an everyday wine, something that has a lot of applications, kind of like the Beaujolais we drank last week. I'm excited.
I'm hoping it's a little bit more. It's got a little bit more going on than the Beaujolais.
Ooh, good nose feel. That smells really good right out the gate.
It's funny that it mentioned peppery. I'm not getting any peppery notes on the nose. I do smell it's oaky. I'm smelling a little bit of berry.
I think that's very good. I really like the taste of that. Yeah, not super dark. A little bit of a drier finish.
Definitely dry.
Like, piquing my interest right away. I
Some,
can see
there's
the-
some tart berry there.
There is, but I can see, like, the thirst-quenching notes that they mentioned on wine.com. Like, it does have, like, it's like the feel that, like...
My mouth is getting drier as I'm going to have to go in for another sip to...
I'm doing the opposite. It has the feeling that, like, Pedialyte or Gatorade gives you in your mouth. Maybe that's just a me thing. And I mean that in the best way. I fucking love Pedialyte.
Good for you.
I'm probably gonna.
It's so sugary.
Oh, I love
though.
it. I
Oh,
love it.
God.
I'm probably gonna have some tonight. I might have some tomorrow morning. I get the sport one because I'm sporty.
Oh, you get the one that's like the Pedialyte for adults.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I like the sport one.
why?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
In case I think
The
about going for a
Pedialyte,
run.
I will say the Pedialyte powder.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, I thought you were talking like the
No, I
actual,
don't have like the Barstool Sports like hangover relief one. No, it's just like the sport pack of Pedialyte. I can see where they say thirst quenching.
Why I can't put my finger on what berry, like tart blueberry maybe?
Could be a blueberry.
It's light. There's not really too much legs on it. Maybe that kind of goes with how like the easy drinking on the lighter side. It's a nice color, nice ruby. The nose is great. I do
Yeah.
very much enjoy the nose. We'll see how it opens up. Let it sit for a little while. Again, our method, popped an aerator in it, poured it, let it sit for a few minutes because it does have a little bit of bite
Yeah.
going down. So
Yeah.
I'll be interested if that because it's talking
I think
about
that is the Synthol grape. It's supposed to be like a little bit more acidic and cutting, so that's why they mix it usually in a triad or a trio with the Grenache and with the Tempranillo.
But I'll be interested if it mellows out. All right, so now that we have kind of given our initial view of the wine, it's about time for us to dive into our episode. Before I do that, I just want to, again, note our means of communication, our social media platforms. Instagram, VinoVolley85. Our Gmail account, VinoVolley85@gmail.com. Our website, VinoVolley85 at wixsite.com/VinoVolley. Check out the website.
Yeah.
We had one person from Japan check out the website, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, so I would just say access it because again, I'm continually updating it. Obviously, the main page is just the bio about us. So if you know us, you don't really need to read it. But what's important, what's useful on the website is the wines page, which is going to be continually updated with the wines we drink. I've made it so that now Ryan and my score will be posted, as sometimes we have found we are not on the exact same score line, so I think it's fair to identify both scores because you could align with one more than the other. And then the brief overview of the tasting notes for the wine. And then as well, we now have the podcast page. So if you are at home, your phone's charging in a way, but you're on your computer, you can access the website, access the podcast page, and it has a podcast player there. So
Beautiful.
all right, Rye. So one more time as we get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Saudi impact on the Premier League.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Oh man, where do we start? Because like we've
Well,
only
how
got
about-
so much time.
we only have so much
we're
time.
not doing like a part 2 to this.
So let's start very general. And
I'm going to try to not speak in some sort of southern accent, say like Saudi Arabia. Like I'm not going to try to go there.
yeah, we did that. You're going to talk in your voice.
I'm going to talk in my voice, which
And-
apparently is both soothing and sultry.
It is. It is.
Thank you.
What I want to know is let's start with just general thoughts. What are your thoughts on it from a fan standpoint, from just a human being? Obviously we've seen it with the Live Tour for golf. We've saw the divide that it has caused.
Yep.
And now we're seeing, all these players, we'll get into some of the names in a little bit, but we're seeing some of these players that are either maybe at the tail end of their career, but some that are, still have a lot to give. They're going to this. So let's hear some of your thoughts on this, basically this up and coming Saudi Pro League.
Okay. I did a little bit of reading, which is very unlike me.
Stop the press.
I do have some things in front of me. This is something that's been interesting, like I've been interested in for the last couple of years because I have this weird, like call it old-fashioned style of like
a guy who collects trains,
Like a guy who
old-fashioned?
collects trains.
Okay.
The idea of your team should be like homegrown players, and obviously it's 2023. It's not going to happen. Like you're not going to get a team from Manchester that just has people from Manchester. I understand the sports are far too big and it's international, especially when we're talking about soccer.
Yep.
Dare I say soccer has gone the way of Pitbull,
Oh,
Mr. Worldwide.
I was wondering where you're
Not
going
going to cut that one. Dollar. Since we've gotten out of that over the probably
But we
You
are,
know-
and we are going to talk about that in a future episode as homegrown talent.
Yeah,
so.
the idea that you're not going to get just exclusively players from the area where your team is.
Right.
I mean, if you look across all the major sports, we're obviously focused on soccer. You've got maybe 1 or 2 kids that come up through the academy that are exclusively local that end up making it to the big club. In the last decade, 12 years, you've now had pretty much global billionaires from all over the world. I mean, there are the Rooneys and the Mars here in the States, as well as the Fenway Group, that own international soccer clubs. They own a bunch of different things. They just have like a portfolio of athletic teams. You had the Russian guy who just owned Chelsea, who sold it.
Yep.
And
Abramovich.
now we're seeing this influx of Saudi interest, which kind of began in professional soccer. I mean, if you know nothing about this and you simply, watch the big names or know like the big teams in Europe, they have sponsorships on their jerseys. Barcelona, who's on the front of their jersey?
You're going to put me on the spot for that one?
Yeah, it's Emirates. PSG
is AIG.
It's Qatar Airways.
Why don't you just start saying, because I don't fucking know.
I could also be wrong, but then again, I'm betting 1,000 when it comes to just throwing shit against the wall. So, I mean, Arsenal has Emirates on the front of their jersey. Yeah. So you have, even outside of ownership, you now have this influence from the Middle East that is throwing money towards advertising, right? Now they're buying teams. Now they're buying up real estate where these teams are. And when we talk, we've only been mentioning Saudi Arabia, but it's actually a consortium. It's a group of not only Saudi billionaires and sheiks and what's the term I'm looking for here? They have crown prince as well, but they're also from Qatar as well. So all these kind of like the Arab Emirate countries are now finding ownership in these teams. I'm going to start.
Hold on. First.
Yes.
Because it's the Mike Wall Honesty Hour.
Yeah.
So Spotify is actually the sponsor on the front of Barcelona's jersey.
Fuck!
Emirates is the sponsor on Real Madrid's.
That's not bad.
It's all right.
Okay.
That's why it
saved. I'm also trying to
saved you from the.
I'm also trying to read and scroll and talk. But here's an example. We're all fairly or should be familiar with Manchester City.
Correct.
Circle back to that one. Let's take, for example, Newcastle United, which up until a few years ago was one of the worst teams in professional soccer. In the Premier League, I should say.
One of the most devoted fan bases.
That is true.
Give the Toon Army their due.
They very quickly became the richest soccer club in the world. And coincidence, they are now in the Champions League in a few short years. They've gone from bottom of the barrel to now you're playing on like a continental stage. And this conglomerate, this consortium of Saudi-led ownership, purchased Newcastle for over $405 million.
Yes. And so the funny story about that, I think, is a sheik that bought them.
Yep.
Is he said, I told them I wanted a new castle, and they bought me a soccer team. So the joke was that he actually just wanted a physical new castle to buy. That's the joke he told, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyway, I digress. Continue.
Yeah, and over the last few years, you've had more Arab ownership of clubs all across Europe. For example, we mentioned Manchester City. That's owned by the United Arab Emirates. So the UAE, that consortium, owns Manchester City. Sheikh Mansour owns Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, sorry. Mansour owns Man City.
Mansour, Man City. Wow, that's it.
PSG is Qatar's Nasser Al Khalifi. Oof, this might not be smooth. Aston Villa is owned by Egypt's Nassef Sawiris. I'm sorry. And Sheffield United is owned by Saudi Arabia's Abdullah bin Mossad bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Nailed it.
That's probably better than I could have done.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then, as we mentioned, Emirates, Etihad Airways, and Qatar Airways, major deals with other European soccer clubs. So they find a team, they throw a shitload of money into it.
Yep.
That team starts performing because they can throw endless amounts of money on it. And there you go. I'm not done. I'm gearing up here.
Okay.
I'm shifting gears. I
Okay.
just needed to take a sip and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fire away.
The idea that you have pretty much an infinite amount of money because it's all in oil, and oil led to real estate, and real estate pretty much makes money by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So they have an infinite supply of money. They're buying up these teams all over Europe. They created Live Golf and pretty much held a gun to the PGA Tour's head as hey, we're stealing all these players. We're paying them stupid money. And what are you going to do about it? It's it's a...
Well, the other part of it is, and it kind of goes with your two-part, is Saudi's buying these teams in the Premier League and other leagues, and then they own their own Saudi teams, and we'll talk about some of the notable players, but players going to these teams, and it was just voted down that there was a proposal for a ban for Saudi teams to be able to loan players to the Premier League teams where basically the owners are the same.
Yeah.
And it was voted down.
Yeah.
So now, because there are talks of Newcastle United,
Yep.
it has collaborations with a Saudi team that has players like Ruben Neves,
Mhm.
who we'll talk about in a little bit greater detail when we get into the Saudi league and that impact isolated from this conversation. But they are interconnected. But again, so now, come the January transfer window, these two teams that are basically owned by the same person can be like, oh, hey, we're riddled.
Collusion.
We're riddled with injuries. We can now be like, oh, hey, can you loan us this player? And they're going to be like, yeah, sure, here you go. Oh, don't worry about the wages because it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's on our wage bill. So it's definitely, it's interesting. Now, from a Liverpool perspective, listen, I have my gripes with John Henry, FSG, but I'm also of the mindset that, unlike certain fans out there, there's not that die-hard Liverpool fan who's a multi-billionaire. It just doesn't exist. So you either have a businessman who's going to run this like a business. He's going to stay in the black. He's going to spend money because
it's just something in his portfolio.
Winning is profitable,
Profit, yeah.
but he's not going to put himself in the red, so he's going to stay in the black. So you either you like him, or you go to this, they would say sell your soul to this Saudi who has endless money.
Right.
And it's like, well, where do you fall? Like, me personally, I'm cool with, we stay in our lane.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's frustrating in the transfer window, but look at the team we have now. Like, it's always going to have ebbs and flows, and I just, I like to keep the integrity of the team, the integrity of the sport.
Yeah. Which I'm glad you brought that up.
Fire away.
This is where we dive deeper into a topic known as sports washing. Right? And this is pretty much like pulling the cover over everyone's head and be like, oh, look at this product. Meanwhile, as we know, you've mentioned on this podcast, the World Cup in Qatar was built on slave labor. Fact. And the idea of what these owners do.
I also tied that to using a bidet.
That is true. They come in, they buy the club, they dump a shitload of money into it. So people are like, oh, new shiny thing. Look at all these goods. They're building real estate as a way to circumvent, sneakily, pretty much hide the skeletons in the closet of humanitarian aspects in their own countries. They're throwing their gold coins over here in Europe. Meanwhile, back there, their people are oppressed. There's zero women's rights.
Well, of course.
Everything's built on slave labor. But the idea is I want this shiny thing. I'm going to give these people this. They'll love us, and they'll forget about all the shitty things that we're doing back home.
I mean,
that's where
you're seeing
I get pissed.
You're seeing it with Jordan Henderson went over, and they did a release of him signing for, I think it was Al Nassr. No, Al Ettifaq.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. And so they did it, so Jordan Henderson was a big proponent of the multicolor armband in the Premier League, supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. And so so they did it was all snippets of him from playing for England, playing for Liverpool as a, hey, welcome, Jordan Henderson, welcome to the club. And any time they showed him wearing the armband, it was black and white.
Yeah.
They took the color photo out. And, a lot of people gave him flack for it, and he never really addressed it. And you're even seeing now, like, Steven Gerrard is a coach for that team, and he's kind of, how can you not, right? What are you going to, you're the coach, they're paying you all this money, you're going to fucking just be like, they got to make changes. Like, you're not going to do it. So it's just like you're kind of absorbed into this sport washing, this culture. It's tough to see.
It sucks because you obviously want to, as like an athlete or as a coach, you would imagine you want the best for your family. Like if your better days are behind you, like, oh, hey, here's this opportunity. I can set my family up, my grandkids with this stupid money. But like, there's like the moral price of it.
There is.
And that's where like, I think I have a super hard time with someone who's done damn near nothing except for just be like shit out of somebody. I was figuratively.
Babies come out of the butt, right?
Yeah, it's like a cloaca. It's one hole, right? It's like birds, turtles. No.
Someone,
you know what? Someone's gonna hear that and be like, "This fucking guy." You know what? One hole. It's a universal hole. Anyway, and you're just born, and you get everything handed to you because, like, there happens to be like oil where you were born, and your family has all this money, probably through either legal or illegal means. And it's just like, oh, I want this thing. I'm going to go buy it. And you can't say no. And it's just, now I'm getting pissed. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And that's like on a, much.
I don't like it.
There you go. That's where I don't like it because it's different.
It's different. I hate it.
Yes. Obviously are you done yet? I thought you were going to interject.
Sorry. I thought about it.
Okay. Just drink your wine for a second.
Thank you.
Let me get this out. I don't like it from that aspect either. But I also think that from let's kind of take the big picture out of the equation and just look at it from the siloed sport perspective.
Okay.
And from a player perspective and from a fan perspective. Okay.
Okay.
So in that I mean you're fucking taking all of our players, kind of.
Oh, well, there's that too, which also pisses me off.
Well, it does. It does and it doesn't. Like, there's obviously an initial sting, especially. So first of all, I'm gonna read through some of the notable players, and this is, I think, within like the last year or so that have jumped ship over to the Saudi League, and then I'll make my point of the impact.
Because you this was your spin on it.
This
is your approach on it.
This is my approach on it. Not like, let's solve Ryan Rebecki solve the world problems, and this was just
This is what happens when I do the reading. I should just show up and
This is purely from a soccer fan. So within the last year, obviously the first big name was Ronaldo, right?
Yep.
And everyone was just like, what is he doing? It's the end of his career. And now he's put a face to this. So many more people have come over. They're talking about it becoming such now a popular league that they might get a Champions League spot, which is going to bring him back into Europe, which that eventually is going to bring TV spots. So it's insane. So
I hate it because you're just making the rich even richer, and it pisses me off. I'm angry.
You are angry. But notable names within the last transfer window that Ryan is just stewing with his arms crossed, furrowed mustache. Bobby Firmino went from Liverpool to El Ali?
Yeah, got it.
Eduardo Mendy was the goalkeeper for Chelsea, went. Gabri Veiga from Celta. Alan St. Germain from Newcastle. He might actually come back. Georginio Wijnaldum from Roma. Moussa Dembele. Jordan Henderson. Koulibaly from Chelsea went there. Neymar from PSG. Listen, we'll get on. I think we'll have like a Neymar as a piece of shit episode anyway. But Ruben Neves, another one. So Alexander Mitrovic, N'Golo Kante, Karim Benzema, Fabinho, Alex Telles is another one from Manchester United. Laporte, like all these guys. So my big thing is, and it's probably one of the reasons I don't like.
Lewandowski went too, right?
Lewandowski plays for Barcelona. He went Bayern to.
Or maybe there was a rumor that he was going to go.
He could, because he's not doing as great as he was last season. But anyway, my point is that it's all about what you want. Like, from a fan perspective, yes, it hurts when a player leaves, especially if I think they still had something to offer. Sadio Mane was another name. Now, Sadio Mane is a good example where most of his wages go to his town, his village in Senegal. Like, he's built a hospital.
Great guy.
He's built roads. He still had, I think when he was on Liverpool, I think one of the players saw he still had like a iPhone 6 with a cracked case.
Yeah.
And was just like bought him a new, like,
he's taking care of.
He's taking care. So in that case,
where
like,
he came from.
He came to Liverpool. He won everything you could win. He wanted to leave. He went to Bayern, didn't work out, but then he went to the Saudi League. For me, that's okay. Like, you put your dues in. You're a guy who takes most of your wages and puts them to good use.
Correct.
Now, again, I haven't done any further research to make sure he's not living in a lap of luxury right now and is screwing over his hometown, but I don't think that's the case. So I think this is a guy that has taken that huge paycheck and is now being able to put it to better use, where he wasn't getting that kind of money when he was at Liverpool. He got better money when he was at Bayern, but now he's getting even better money. So
tell you what these guys are doing. Sweating their ever-living nuts off because
not
they're
a-
playing on the goddamn
not a
surface
cool
of the
place.
sun.
So my thing is, from a fan perspective, my mindset is that every player is someone who is just a diehard, and what they want more than anything is the glory. Now,
Yeah.
I've been far removed from American football, but I just remember at the peak of the Patriots,
Oh,
you had guys,
take me back.
guys like Randy Moss. You had these players. You had Ocho Cinco. You had these players who
fuck
had
that
taken
guy.
pay cuts to become part of a system because they knew it was their best chance to win a Super Bowl.
correct.
They sacrificed the money because they wanted the glory.
And coincidentally enough, Robert Kraft, owner, was also a fan. He mentions all the time sitting in the old like Schaefer Stadium, like cement bleacher seats, and he's like, when he made it big, he's like, I'm gonna freaking
So
buy
it's
this
like-
team because I love it. That's what I want.
Well, you have like these players. So in my mind, every player is just like, I want to live and die by this club. I want to win everything there is to win, and that's all that matters to me.
Right.
That's not the case,
No.
right? So these players, they're businessmen too, and sometimes the allure of that big paycheck is just too much. Now, guys that are like you're 30, your 30s over 30, sure, go to the Saudi League. Like you put your time in. But guys are in like their 20s, and it's like some of them were, Koulibaly for one. Ruben Neves still had a long career, I think.
Mendy's super young, but then again, didn't he have like a charge against him?
Eduardo Mendy?
I think so.
No, Benjamin Mendy.
Oh.
He was also exonerated and is now suing
Oh, is
Manchester City for
Oh.
lost wages.
Oh, so he's trying to Mendy.
Different Mendy.
He's trying to Mendy those ties.
No, he's trying to burn
Yeah.
burn everything.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, these guys that they still have a race to run, and it's just surprising that it's not, all right, let me go to a team that I can still compete at the highest level. I can maybe make it in the Champions League, even the Europa League. All these, I can win these cups. So that is my issue with the Saudi League. But I think in a way that sometimes it hurts initially, like that player goes, it's also good because it's like they didn't want it, right? If they truly, if they didn't have their heart on what the program was, what the intent was, then
Right.
sure. It sucks to lose their talent, but their passion wasn't there, so I don't want them on the team. Like Neymar is an excellent example. It's also probably one of the reasons I really don't like Mbappe.
Yeah.
I think Mbappe is all about the paycheck
Yeah.
and is literally just will continue to
Yeah. He'll just be a mercenary.
yeah. Continue to just David Carradine PSG, just one around the neck and one around the balls, and just keep being like, give me more money. I'm going to, I'm going to Real Madrid. Give me more money.
An
Give me more money.
autoerotic asphyxiation
And
reference.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so it's just now, that being said, there was a Twitter image that came where France played Greece, and for some reason Mbappe specifically went up to Costa Simicas, and no one could figure out why he would talk to him.
Yeah.
So now obviously all the Mbappe to Liverpool. That being said, welcome him with open arms because he's a fantastic player. But personally, I would feel bad about it because I think it's that driving the paycheck rather than driving the glory. Because if he really wanted to, he should have left PSG a long time ago. Because
Right.
Great, you're the best team in France.
Yeah.
It means shit. It's
Yeah.
you could have gone to any other team and challenged for being the best in Europe.
Right.
But you continually strong arm this team to continue to get more money.
And
So-
it's also Saudi owned.
Yep.
Or Qatari owned.
Yeah, is it Qatar or Qatar? I feel like Qatar has a better role to it, but some people say Qatar.
Some people say Qatar.
Ooh, I don't like that.
No, that's bug spray.
That's like tomato or bagel.
Oh, listen, if I'm watching a British cooking show and they don't say tomato, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, maybe then bagel. I don't have problems.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you can get the fuck
that's some
out.
communist stuff right there.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel icky talking about it. Like the idea that just like money is buying all these players, it's buying these teams, and all the while there's like an absolute like shitstorm going on where they actually live. It like really bothers me. I don't like it. I don't
Saudi,
care for it.
bad.
Saudi, bad. UAE, bad. And then, as I'm reading, because I did read, as I mentioned, might have mentioned it once or twice.
Yeah.
The idea that it's like, oh, you know, we're going to do these things, and we're also going to get away from oil, wink, wink. Like, what? Get out of here with that. Just like, you're getting angry, Ryan Rebecca, tonight. This is, I still have a smile on my face, but deep down.
It's not deep down. It's pretty much on the surface.
I'm pretty
right?
angry. I'm
just fired
up. It just sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I understand not every owner is going to be Robert Kraft and be a fan of the team and be like a local guy. But it would be nice that like people just had a little bit more, like you said, the will for glory and the idea of like, I'm going to take this team to the next level. Like the guys who are here can do it versus just like, oh, this is hard. Look at all this money over here. And yes, sometimes cash does rule everything around me. But I feel that at the heart of sports, it has to be glory-based and not fake fame and monetary-based, which sucks because it's 2023 and it doesn't work that way. What's going to be next? They got soccer. They got a Formula One race now, just fucking melting tires in the middle of the desert.
I mean, you could probably feel safe in traditional American sports. They'll probably hit anything that's more international, so cricket, rugby, maybe.
It wouldn't surprise me if they aren't already in the cricket, but like then again,
well, then I
just
don't like.
Rugby would be rugby's a good one. Tennis would be another good one.
But tennis it's your own, right? Unless they're hosting tournaments,
or
right?
They do something like Live Golf, and they have their own series. You know,
like the like the 4 Grand Slams they have.
Yeah, I know. I just read something that in 2019 they pretty much sent like a business group over to the States, and they were inquiring about NFL, MLB,
I'm wrong then.
And sure, shit wasn't NHL, so it was just NFL, MLB, and NBA.
What ice looks like.
Yeah,
I think they were actually they have a bid for one of the World Cups too now.
Yeah, I mean they just had it in Qatar.
Yeah, but now this one is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Oh God!
You heard it here first. Ryan against the Saudi League.
It's
okay. It's okay.
I feel icky.
It's okay.
It makes me it just angers me, and I don't like being angry. This is me being vulnerable, folks.
This is you vulnerable. Good God.
Yeah. So there you go. Got a little history.
We did. Really took a deep dive, and yeah, I think we're on the same page. I was a little bit more superficial on this one, whereas we were kind of like the reversal of the most punchable face.
It was true.
I was the superficial one,
yeah,
where it's just like I like my players. I don't want them to go there, man. Yeah. And you were the one where just like I'm going to solve all the world's problems right here with this glass of Lebanese wine. Yeah. Speaking of that wine,
love it. Good segue. That's a professional segue. That's a big market transition.
That's a episode 4 segue right there.
I really like it.
I do too.
It hits hard though. Like I'm starting to figure out now that it's 14.5%.
Yep.
But all in all, smells great. I ate before we started recording. I want like cheeses. I want olives. I need like hand food right now, like finger food right now.
Have you ever had Lebanese or Syrian food?
Other than what you've made.
So rishtaya.
Bless you.
Well,
also explain how you know this.
I'm half Syrian.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let the people know.
Well, I mean, I would. So that also goes where how good I am with that celebratory yell or roar as they would call it. Actually, I wanted to make sure. So I asked my mom.
It's ancestral.
Ancestral, right?
Yeah, not ancestral.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Ancestral. So I asked my mom. I was just like,
The
I was
cloaca's
like-
the universal
yeah.
whole.
So I asked my mom like before we saw them, I think over the weekend, and I was like, Mom, like we're gonna do this episode. We're gonna have Lebanese wine. We're talking about the Saudi League, and I was like, I'm weirdly good at this. And I was like, what's the, like, because at first I was just like, is it like a battle cry? She's like, no, like it's a cause for like celebration, joy. And so then I did like a couple YouTube videos just to like double check.
Oh, I
that
thought you were gonna say you like stood out in the backyard and just let some rip and
Yeah.
just
and then just sirens.
and just
being
waited
like,
until your ancestors parted the sky like Mufasa
No,
and Lion King.
I did some additional fact checking, and it's just like, yeah, usually at like weddings, like people would
Yeah, it's not culturally insensitive for you to do it.
No. Well, so again, but I am just I've got that.
It's good.
Yeah, it is good. Maybe that's how we'll end the episode. So just fade into the sunset with a nice. But anyway, so yeah, we'll have to get you out to have some Lebanese Syrian food, because this would be the lightness, because
Yep.
it is, Syrian food is not light by any means. There's a lot of meats, rices, so. But anyway, I enjoy it. I enjoy it more. I mean, it is light, and as we know, I'm more of a
Light in color.
light in color, light in mouthfeel. It has a great nose. I'm getting a lot of berry on the nose. I don't get any peppery notes though. That's what I'm not getting. The wine.com said peppery.
Right.
I'm getting more berry notes. It's a little tart to me.
Yeah, hints of spice and pepper. I'm getting like
Spice.
when we talk about spice, I'm getting like warmer, almost like clove maybe. If I think about it really hard. But
Getting
yeah, I'm not
taste of a smooth backwoods. Or a nice black and mild.
or like an actual clove cigarette. Remember those? I ask you, you don't know.
Mm-mm.
No. Those things crackle when you rip them.
Definitely dry on the finish though.
See, I'm not getting that.
You know,
I'm on board with the thirst quenching.
and let's clear the air right now. I had a
You sound great.
I had a dose of prescription of prednisone.
Dose.
I had the dose.
They
I
didn't-
doused
they didn't-
myself.
they didn't
and
put you in a
I
vat
fucking
of it.
just showered myself in steroids and the Z-Pack. So there ain't nothing.
No, you're
I'm in it. And
take the
and
governor right off.
the-
you're
the
you're
moisture,
running wide open
my
right
tongue feels thick. Okay, from lack of
it's just-
moisture.
now. Allergic reaction
Yeah,
or something. and you're going into anaphylactic shock.
Get the EpiPen. Get the Benadryl. No, but I do. I think flavor wise, it's good. I'm probably we'll see how it finishes at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna be. It'll be higher, I think, than the Beaujolais. I don't think it's gonna be a wow score. But
Okay.
It's
I agree.
enjoyable.
Yeah. Speaking of EpiPen, while you're filling up, I did tell one of my students who has like a severe peanut allergy. I usually remind her at least like once every couple of weeks. I'm like, hey, I'll stick you with an EpiPen. She's like, oh, okay. No, like that's great. I'm like, no. I'll do it. And there was like this combination of like relief of like, oh, like he'll make sure I'm safe, and like, and then like,
You don't even have to be having a reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
where is it?
Where
Yeah.
is it? I'm feeling itchy.
I was like, I know I got to move my thumb so I don't go to the hospital too. And she's like, oh, okay. Good kid. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I'm looking to see where we come score-wise with this at the end of the episode, because I do think this is itching towards a higher score.
For you?
I
For
think
both
for
of
both of
us.
us. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. But that being said,
Is
it
it time?
is time. And as you know, it's all interconnected. It is time for the most punchable face for none other than our Saudi-owned Newcastle United. Now, I do have
Yep.
the fans have spoken.
How many emails?
How many emails? Well, I had a strong arm. Did you just stroke it out there?
No, my contact just
Oh.
rolled into the fucking back of my head. So I was just uncomfortably winking at Mike from across the table. And it's because my contact is in my brain right now. Well, you can't see it, so it doesn't matter.
I cannot see
But you
it.
can, send your best. So we got emails.
We have
I think the email part might be my favorite part.
We
'cause
have
it's just like
5 emails.
5 emails.
Five
That's more than
emails.
last week. We're improving.
We are improving.
Ooh.
Again, I did have to strong arm a few people to get it in before the deadline. But
Okay.
We're hoping that it will become organic for some people.
Yep.
But if not, be ready, because I will start messaging you incessantly.
Okay. Newcastle FC.
So the first
What we
one
got?
comes from William Wallace.
Oh, awesome.
And first he had gone with John Joe Shelby, which I was like, oh, like great choice. Like what a fucking bird beak.
Wait, who was it?
John Joe Shelby. He doesn't actually. He's plays in the Turkish league now, so it's not. It doesn't really work. But
Okay.
he used to play for Liverpool. Then he was a Newcastle guy, and was just I mean just
I'm assuming terrible because I've never heard of him.
he had quite a leg, but that was about it. He was a bit of a bruiser player. Like didn't really have like a good like mentality. Would get carded easily.
Okay.
So anyway, so he went with Miguel Almiron.
Oh, Miguel.
And what he came up with is that it really just comes down to his celebration face, which he just really disliked. He looks like he'd be a high school bully, is what William
Interesting.
writes. He didn't want to mock him too bad, but it was also came down to his eyebrows. But this was kind of a little bit of deep-seated childhood regression. Was basically someone who needed to grow into his eyebrows, and it reminded him.
I was going to say, is he?
Bill,
Bill, are you okay? Are we?
Minded him of his brother as a kid who also had really big eyebrows and was a dick to William. So
all right. Yeah, there's definitely some deep-seated anger there.
yeah. So that was Miguel Almiron.
Miguel
was Williams pick. Solid pick. I think Almiron just kind of looks like a toad.
Oh, he does have a very
He's got like
amphibious-looking face.
Yeah, and so like, I'm not a princess. I'm not gonna kiss it.
No.
I'm gonna fucking punt it. So
Yep.
There we go.
All right, what we got next?
First write-in for Kara. So it was a tie, which again we'll try and limit it to one person. The tie for me this week for most punchable face due to the teeth to mouth ratio. 1 where the teeth was too large, and 2 where the teeth were too small. She has chosen Nick Pope for 2 large teeth, and Karen
Really?
Trippier for 2 small teeth.
All right.
Yes, not a good tooth to gum ratio.
No.
Yeah, Nick Pope. I mean, that she actually posted a picture that is better. Like if you get the side profile, like his top teeth are out like a good 2 inches from his bottom teeth.
Yeah.
You can't really tell on the front profile, but good punchable face. Trusted and true Brooke is back again, and
Hi, Brooke.
her choice was Kieran Trippier. Has the most punchable face on Newcastle United because he doesn't even look like a human. Looks like he came
That's a
from
valid
outer
point.
space with his head shape.
That is true.
Kieran Trippier taking it on the chin
His
right now.
face looks like a home plate of a baseball field.
Yeah, it's
like
boxy.
pentagonal.
Yeah, it's not great. And he's usually compared with Trent because they're fighting. Well, when they were playing like that position, they were fighting for it, and I always thought that Trent was better. So I agree. Kieran Trippier for his Kieran Trippier.
Okay.
Jess is back again.
Hi,
And
Jess.
She says, I gotta say, Newcastle didn't have as many punchable faces as we've seen so far, but I still want to punch Kieran Trippier. Looks like an extra from Green Street Hooligans.
I can see that.
Fantastic movie, by the way. This will probably be brought up on our episode when we do dive into our favorite soccer and
Yeah.
soccer TV and
Still haven't seen it.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Any movie that can make Elijah Wood look like a badass, is probably got to be a pretty good movie. And
got a young-
organically,
It's got a young Charlie Hunnam in it, too.
It does.
There you
It
go.
does. And last but not least, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ. Hey, guys. The first face that jumped off the screen begging to be punched was Sandro Tonali. All right, I think we know where Ryan was going. It looks like he's been punched in the face before because that schnoz has definitely been broken a few times. Got that whole.
I'm starting to. All right, hold on. I'm a little
Owen-
triggered. I'm a little triggered by that. But
Do you
go
also
on.
have an Owen Wilson reference?
Wow.
Also, he reminded me of a knockoff Kylo Ren. That's from the Star Wars movie.
God damn it!
Played by Adam Driver.
This fucking. What's his name? Adam Driver? Donald Driver?
He's not done yet. Plus, finding out he's been suspended for gambling, which proves he's a dumbass, deserves a punch. Honorable mention, Kieran Trippier. Not sure what it is about his face, but he's got one of those tiny scrunched up faces that looks kind of impish, like he just farted in a room full of people and is so proud of himself. Love the podcast. Cheers, CJ. Cheers to you, CJ. Thanks for the write-in. Although Ryan's a little pissed because
Yeah.
you really.
I'm a little pissed, even though CJ did nail it.
So Rye, who's your pick?
Good thing I had a backup. It was going to be fellow Paisan Sandro Tonali. I was going to have a Italian on Italian crime here. He does. He looks like fucking Adam Driver, who I can't stand. His face sucks.
Oh, you don't like Adam Driver?
I cannot stand
Story.
him.
Okay, conversation for another time. But anyway,
The whole time, that's the one Star Wars movie I've ever watched, and the whole time just like, this dude sucks.
well, I mean, the movie was terrible. Adam Driver's not the Solo.
And he's an idiot because he was gambling.
Yes.
Moron. Like, if you're a professional athlete and you're gambling on, just don't gamble on your sport. Don't gamble on your team. You fucking idiot. Like, don't do it. So dumb. So dumb.
Okay.
Now I have to go to my second one. CJ brought up good points. I fucking hate Adam Driver. Fuck that guy.
I
Harvey
like Adam-
Barnes.
I like Adam Driver.
In his, if you type in Newcastle United FC, click on players, Harvey Barnes' picture looks like a frat boy initiation picture. I not as angry as Sandro Tonali. It is just, he looks like a young pledge, just like
His name should be Chad.
100%.
Yeah.
Or like Ethan.
Ethan.
Just like something about his face, something about the picture. He's in a
Chet.
suit. He's in a Chet. He's in a suit. He's not in his uniform. He just like has like this shitty grin on his face, like he's up to no good. Probably plays like D3 lacrosse, and I don't like it. I don't like looking at it. Punch him right in the kisser. Actually, I want to see how big Harvey Barnes is before I go further here. 25. God damn
It's
it.
gonna change your decision
Imagine
to
being 25.
metaphorically punch him in the face because of his size.
5'9", taller than him.
Whoa!
And I'm shrinking at a rapid rate in my progressed age. Yeah,
Just
no.
leaning over all those trains.
Yeah, no. His picture, just don't like it. Not a single bit. Very punchable face. That's my bet. CJ took my thunder.
He really did.
I had a whole Donald Driver. Why do I keep saying that? Who's Donald Driver?
He is the actor from Atlanta. Who's also played Lando Calrissian in the Solo movie.
Nope.
He was in Community. He's also a stand-up comedian. He's black.
Wait, Childish Gambino?
Yep, there you go.
No, that's Glover.
What did you just say? Donald
Driver.
Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck. Is there a Donald Driver? Oh. I got my face on that one. Well, maybe there isn't a Donald.
Harvey Barnes looks like a walking roofie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway,
That's what I was getting. That's
so
what I was alluding
let's
to.
segue to my pick, Anthony Gordon. Former Everton, just an absolute weasel, Anthony Gordon.
Hold on.
Okay?
Bring up a picture.
We talk about a honker that just is itching for 5 knuckles right into it. He's the winner. Not only is he was an Everton player, so I don't like him from that get-go. He is the biggest diver I have ever seen.
He looks emaciated.
It's probably from ripping cigarettes. Fucking degenerate.
Is he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's got kind of like the look of his face of a guy who just like rips butts.
He might be. So he's 6 feet tall.
Oh,
I don't know. I have to go through like his
yeah.
fighting
Why is the
weight and
height
stuff.
like?
Well, if you're gonna punch someone in the face, like you gotta kind of figure out the
This
logistics.
is good. I
of
mean,
it.
if anything, it'd be a sucker punch. Like I'm gonna be running from like 20 yards away.
He weighs 130 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
Officially, unofficially.
Anyway, so diver.
That's a great pick.
Everton player. He's ugly as sin.
Ugly as sin. He married.
On the inside and the outside. Let's clear the air there. I'm not just being superficial. Okay, and he was. I don't like Everton. But he was such a bitch the way he wanted to leave. And yeah, I just watch highlights. He might have
Someone made it with him. He's got a kid.
paid for it. He might have some of the higher actual yellow cards for fabrication in the Premier League for simulation, which is saying something because it's something they never call. And I just want to sock him right in his thin, emaciated, cigarette-smoking
Got bird beak.
beak. So that is my pick, Anthony Gordon.
There you go. It's a good smattering of Newcastle United.
I mean, Kieran Trippier from our fan base pretty much took the brunt of it for I think three or four. We'll have a good collage of images on the social media
can't
post,
wait.
and I'm gonna pick some winners. Some winners.
Man, I respect CJ for picking that.
I do too.
He got the Star Wars thing in there. That's all right.
Yeah,
hey, when you're right, you're right. When you're good, you're good.
Might have to have CJ on for a live, just like all day punchable face. Buddy, do we need to lock that thing down?
Very active hands tonight. I've tried so hard to not talk with my hands.
Like the Ricky Bobby, have them up by your face in the interview until you need to grab your wine.
Because this is what happens when I get angry. I talk with my hands, and I can't talk with my hands.
I can't edit the
fucking
whacking of the microphone.
I got too much going on here.
That's it. We've bought we're gonna upgrade our setup shortly.
Oh, we're gonna sound so smooth and sexy.
So it's not on fucking shoeboxes.
Mike, this might have been our angriest episode. I don't know if it's gonna come across in this audio medium. I'm still angry.
I can see. So let's take it back.
Okay.
All right. Let's close that chapter.
Hmm?
And let's talk about who we are going to pick for next episode.
Ooh.
Now, I don't have a team right now. So I'm going to ask, do you have a team that you think we should pick for next episode?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I like a good underdog story.
Are you going to go with Luton?
I am.
You're going to go with Luton Town? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Luton Town, they're pretty much playing in a barn.
So I think we'll probably talk a little bit about Luton Town in the next episode. So won't give it away, but for our fans out there, Luton Town is going to be the team for next episode. There's really no tie-in to the main topic or the wine.
Are we doing relegation next week?
We are not.
Okay.
That's why there's
a schedule.
No tie-in.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I figure, you know what? If we don't get to them,
we're gonna
now's the time to do it.
Oh yeah, because
you never know.
Two a month, we'll be close.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, Luton Town. Start taking a look. I have no vested interest in this team. This is probably going to be pure superficial. I think my first time. Okay, so yeah, Luton Town. Get those start writing those in. We're probably another 2 weeks out from our first December episode, so you got some time.
Yeah.
Folks that have written in before, who I know and now have your contact information, you will be hearing from me to keep those submissions going. So now that we know the team, Rye, let's talk about final thoughts on this wine and score.
So my last sip, I just got a little bit more of the dryness. It wasn't as thirst quenching as it was before. I would definitely do this wine again. Like, this was I was a little apprehensive, seeing that I've never had Lebanese wine before. But I guess, like, reading more into it, it's, mixed with wines that I am familiar with.
Yeah.
Kind of
two main grapes that we've actually made wine with.
That is true. And we had this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, go to your local liquor store. I mean, maybe not your local one. We went to this wine came from Yankee Wine and Spirits, and they have several locations.
Yeah, like a larger distributor.
But yeah, so you know what? You've gone first. I'll give my final thoughts and score. So I think it is truly a nice light drinking wine. Although this has more punch than the Beaujolais. I think the Beaujolais for me was just too light, too easy drinking. Like because that one was it was just over 13% was the Beaujolais.
13.18.
This is 14
and a half.
14 and a half. So you're feeling a little bit more as by our fiery conversation. I think you can tell the wine, but it's got pretty good color. A nice ruby color, good nose. Again, it's fruit forward on the nose. I feel like it's always been for me. I'm not getting any.
Yeah, we haven't get like a super like oaky vanilla tobacco right out the gate. So maybe that's something we put on the docket of like.
Yeah, try and find one. I mean, it's good. It's light. Again, not really too much in the legs department if you kind of swirl it in your glass, but it's tasty. I think I get a lot of blueberry up front. I get a really dry finish as, again, moisture is missing in my mouth, but in a good way. So I'm going to give this, I gave the Beaujolais a 7.2 I'm going to give this a 7.6.
I like that. That's a good score.
So
I
that
like
is
that a
my
lot.
score. Rye, what do you got?
I think it's held up the whole episode. Like I said, I would love to do this with like hummus, pita, cheeses. Like I feel like this, because it is Lebanese, I feel like, it's like kind of the pomp and circumstance, but like I want that.
Safety first. If you ever say pita in front of a Syrian or Lebanese person, you might get hit. It's pita chips, maybe. Syrian bread.
Noted.
Noted. Okay.
I don't think we're going to cross the 8 threshold just yet.
I would hope not on this one. This was good, but like we would be setting a dangerous precedent if we were in the 8s for this.
Yeah, but this, you still get two whole decimal points, or two whole solid points to go.
Yeah, but well, I mean, for me, I don't think this beat the Syrah, the Petite Syrah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, your score is your score.
I'll go, because I gave the Beaujolais a 7.8, I believe.
Yes, you did.
I'm going to go, I'll go 7.9 on this. This is definitely better than the Beaujolais, but just by a hair, because I think it's a little bit more bold, which both of us like in a wine. But I've been speaking the praises of the Beaujolais, and I think now if I do see Lebanese wine, I'm not going to be afraid of it. I'm going to say, come with me. Yeah.
I've been on a podcast. We're brothers now.
Yeah. You belong to me. So, that leads us into, we've told the people, it's Luton Town, next episode.
Tell the folks what we will be drinking next episode, and I will tell you, because I don't think I have, how that ties into the topic.
Awesome. We are drinking a Viña Zorzal, which is a Spanish wine. It is 100% Graciano. We had a bunch of Spanish wines. I know you like Riojas, you like Tempranillos and Grenaches. So I'm curious about this one. So I picked this up. The front has a bird on it and has a massive, like, heart type.
I'm going to post the picture, buddy. You don't have to paint.
I know, but it's pretty heavy metal. I'm on board with this bottle.
So the reason that I asked you to pick up Spanish wine is
Spanish.
Because our next topic is we're going to talk about coaching in the modern era.
Ooh, okay.
And the kind of going into how coaches these days deal with superstars, do some do it better, is that, talking about coaches of old, how they handled it. And the reason that I chose a Spanish wine was because Xabi Alonso, recent coach of Bayern Leverkusen, is doing wild stuff in the Bundesliga, is, if not top of the league, is just chasing the coattails of Bayern Munich.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever watched their style of play, it's beautiful. So obviously Spanish descent. We won't be solely focusing on him, but coaches in general. But as I think he's one that I wanted to highlight, that's why we are going to be drinking a Spanish wine.
I might go straight up mustache, no beard next week and like Ditka glasses on, because we're talking about coaches.
It is an audio-only podcast, so only I will be able to see how...
No, you can snap a picture of me just like furrowed brow, just like sitting over here, just like arms crossed in like a coach's
Ditka.
position. Because
Job bears.
I'm going to bring my standpoint to the table next week of what it's like to...
Coach superstars.
To manage egos.
Yeah, of course. Yes, as Ryan has coached many years at different levels.
It's true.
So, yeah, I would love to hear that perspective. I don't have that perspective, so I will just be weighing my thoughts from the professional stage.
Correct. I'm doing no reading next episode.
Buddy, you don't have to.
Nice. Like that. Yeah.
It's that time, my friend.
Awesome.
And as always, we'd absolutely love to keep going, but God damn it, VARU. We're officially out of wine, and thus need to put the final cork into this episode and say, listen to us next time on another exciting episode of Vino Volley. Right, guy? Takes out.
And as always, remember to sip and soccer responsibly. We bid you a Freddy adieu.